It's midday at Sarajevo's main railway station, and Bosnian Croat Zdravko Oljuic is embarking on something of an adventure.
Isn't it nicer going by train?
Sure it is. How much?
60 Bosnian marks and 60 pfennigs.
He purchases a return ticket to Belgrade. It's his first trip to the capital of the former enemy.
I hope the train will improve relations. So many years after the war.
When Serb forces besieged Sarajevo in the early 1990s, Zdravko was one of the many people forced to flee. Rail services were among those first hit. Now train number 450 is heading to Belgrade, just like in the old days. Well, almost. Unlike in the past, the train now has carriages from 3 different railway companies. Each company insists on being represented. The war divided Zdravko's family, one half Bosnian Croat, the other Serb.
It's my first visit to my Serb relatives. I hope I can improve things between us.
15 years after the end of the Bosnian War, the legacy of the conflict still plays a role in everyday life. Conductor Senad Habinja says it took years of political dispute before the train was finally able to resume service.
Politicians interfere in everything. Even in the work we do, which is just about getting people from A to B. Politics are always involved.
But now, as the train resumes service, memories come flooding back. Memories of a peaceful past in one unified country, Yugoslavia, with just one state-owned railway company.
Muzet has the most experience.
We used to have 10, 12, or 15 express trains a day. Sarajevo-Belgrade, Sarajevo-Zagreb, Sarajevo-Stuttgart. I hope that over time we'll see a return to that, just like in the old days, for the sake of our passengers.
But here nothing is that simple. After just 7 stations, we cross an invisible border. And into Serb territory. Now the Bosnian Serb conductors are in charge. And it's time to replace the locomotive from Bosnia and Herzegovina. The Serb authorities insist their own locomotive is used for this stretch. One reason why the journey has already taken 3 hours, twice as long as before the war. It's a testing job for Zdravko, and emotions are running high in the next compartment. A Bosnian Serb says he can't envisage a common future.
Muslims and Serbs can't live together, just like Croats and Serbs can't live with each other.
He's talking nonsense. I completely disagree. It's simple-minded people like that who caused the war. I lived in the old state until that terrible war began. He's drunk. Who knows how much he's had to drink?
Pulled by the second locomotive, the train proceeds a further 50 kilometers to the next border. This time into Croatia, which has recovered comparatively well from the 1990s conflicts. Here it's time for yet another locomotive. The Croatian state railway employees are already waiting. Hasip Dervishovic has an important job to do.
We oversee the train stations on both sides and what goes on there.
But there isn't any real enthusiasm about the train. Pero Kosic says the new connection is certainly a positive step, but the rolling stock is another matter.
Either the Bosnians just aren't able to come up with enough money to modernize the trains, or someone's lining his pockets with it.
Repeatedly swapping the locomotives costs both time and money.
Of course, this doesn't happen elsewhere in Europe. It's crazy. They switch again in less than 100 kilometers. You lose time each time you reconnect the train.
That might change someday, but Kosic is doubtful.
Maybe when I'm dead.
But at least now the train is picking up speed along Croatia's modern tracks. The country hopes to become an EU member in 2 years' time. And it's trying to make a good impression. The Croatian police are checking passports before the train enters Serbia. In the next compartment, the man opposed to integration tries to provoke others with the Serbian nationalist greeting. But the Serb waiter has a different problem.
I always need dinars, Bosnian marks and Croatian kuna for change.
Unlike the Eurozone, each Balkan country has its own currency. Shravko hopes that will soon change.
Like Croatia, I hope all countries in the region and the former Yugoslavia will become members of the EU.
After more than 10 hours, the train finally reaches Belgrade. Shravko is excited to arrive, 4 locomotives and 4 conductor teams later.
Being here is really something new for me, but I hope we change things.
One first step is the train reconnecting Sarajevo and Belgrade.